Here comes the import. He's still got a bit of work to do. He's got a catch floating. Can he? 100 left to run. Floating in front. Sir Delius. Here he comes. Sir Delius got the upper hand, pulled away, and the favourites over the Germans.
Welcome to Bet Dr. Brisvegas. I'm your host, Scoot. I'm joined in studio with John Walter here on the sunny Gold Coast. Beautiful weather here. Walt, how are you, brother?
Good, strap in, guys. We've got 37 races for the next 4 days to go through. So, it should be a 6-hour show. Should be awesome. Porco's got a wedding on Saturday, so hopefully we'll finish by then.
It's drying conditions. The sun's out in Queensland, and we're going to get a great track at Doomben. Finally, the weather gods have smiled upon us, GK, but it is a bit chilly.
It is. It's a little bit cold for us Queenslanders. But look, it's nice to see some clear weather for, the next little bit. Hopefully it holds off for the majority of the next few weeks and we get through the rest of the carnival pretty unscathed.
Yeah, my spies in at RQ said that there was pretty steady turnover or it stabilised year on year for the Doomben 10,000 meeting, which is good news. So I think they'll get a pretty big spike. Now we're getting into the drier good 4 zones. Last week, Elmore-Zillow was tipped up, Sedelius, Sunshine in Paris, Tarby Time, but the one that got away at massive odds at 80-1, Payline GK, wowee.
Yeah, look, that was one that we ended up getting on late in the week, just as we sort of started to dig back through the victory stakes a little bit more, and we were talking about it. I think in my group, most of us got on at sort of 80s or 100s or something. And yeah, look, the race sort of panned out pretty well for it. And look, at Huxtable rode it really well. And yeah, look, I thought it was going to get there with 50 to go. So huge performance. And look, the month's crew is obviously up and flying during the carnival. So yeah, that was a close one. Most of us got on for the place at sort of $17 or something as well. So that's something. But look, it was a good race, a really competitive race. I think, the way I'd summarize it was that J-Mac pretty much just outrode a few of the rivals, like especially Jamie Carr, where Carr was ahead of J-Mac in the run and he just got outside her and boxed her in and game over.
Yeah, and Lady Laguna was just a dead set witch's hat, so Payline couldn't jump over her. But if Lady Laguna had got out of the way quicker, gee, it would have been interesting for those holding a ticket at 80-1. So you need to listen closely if you want to tune into those ones, and don't be scared of taking a big odds play with some funny track sort of patterns. But I thought the most interesting thing was J-Mac just riding 2 and 3 off the fence. There was a couple of overhead aerial shots on a few runners, and where most jockeys just roll into the fence and be happy to sit sort of 3 or 4 pairs back the fence, he just refused to all day. And so clearly 2 and 3 off the fence was in run, a better place to be than rails in run as well. So something to look out for when going forward and doing your form, and that'll be what we'll be playing with as well. As I said, 0 rain on the horizon, which is good. So it's a soft 6 now. They've had to put a little bit of irrigation on, but I'm tipping it'll be good for by race time, rail 2. And there's a little...
why do they have to put irrigation on when it's a 6?
Something to freshen up the sprouts. Something I saw Steve Hewlett tweet today, or I don't know, something in it.
Like your backyard there's a few sprouts coming through.
Well, there's just so much dew. So, yeah, I don't know. They put something over
Shouldn't dew mean you don't have to put...
Well, I would have thought so. But I'm not an expert on tracks, and nor is John Kanga.
No. Or punting, but he's a good fella.
He is a good fella. And that's
He's
the
a good
thing.
fella.
Punters, it's a funny moment.
I don't want to slay him, but jeez.
It's funny when it comes out good 3 times, and it's
but they weren't even. I think there was one that was like bordering on a 3. The rest were higher. Like it was closer. It was dead set 4.
3 or 4.
Like it was at 4 at work. Like it just wasn't. Yeah, I don't know.
Turnover will go up when we're racing on good 3s and 4s more often, but the trainers seem to be having too much say, and
what about the people piling on him?
The 5s and 6s.
The people piling on him, saying it was just a disgrace. It's not good. What were they watching? What happened? Did something happen I didn't see? Did aliens inhabit everyone on track or something? What happened that upset all these people?
It's very odd. I found, and this was a little chat that I had in one of my racing chats, that everyone was carrying on about 15 scratchings after the final field time, but there's hundreds of scratchings every week due to programming and over-programming.
Again, what were they scratching for? Was there the team of butterflies or something? I don't understand. The track was absolutely perfect. They led. They come from the back. As I said, the times weren't crazy. It looked absolutely ideal. There was no horses broke down or anything with it that I missed. I just feel like I'm completely missing something. And the pylon on him was crazy. But yeah, he might be a little bit too nice for his own good. Yeah. Anyway, long live Kanga at the moment. Like don't get me wrong. He's someone we need, but we just probably need to surround him with a little cocoon of the right people.
Insulate the kangaroo. I love it. All right, so we're going to get a drying track, and that's what punters like. And turnover will spike if you get more good 3s and 4s, despite what the trainers say. If they want to scratch their horses, fine. They can live in the 5s and 6s for the rest of their life.
Scratch for a good 3.
It's crazy, isn't it? What a world, 2025. Today's show is going to be a beauty. We've got the Gold Coast Magic Millions National Classic 2-year-old race. It's $1 million on the Friday night under lights. I'm going to have to tap Mrs. on the shoulder and try and get down there. And then we've got Doomben Race 1, 4, and then the Quaddy League 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's the Doomben Cup, the BRC Sprint, the Roses. So it's all shaping up nicely towards the Queensland Oaks and the Stratty. So their last race there, the BRC Sprint, that's a golden ticket, Willy Wonka style into the Stratty. And it's a bit of a, they're climbing all over each other's backs to try and get into that race alone. Walt, you've got 2 races to cover at Randwick. There's about 20 mil overnight, and it looks like it's going to be heavy 8, 9, or even 10. So that's exciting. But Gold Coast Friday night's the first one, this $1 million sales race. Wow. Prince Tycoon heads up the market here. It's sticky, though. It's barrier 16. He might come into 11 after scratchings. B. Shin, Bussett and Young, $2.30. Dragon Rouge, Johnny's horse, $6.50. Amosu is $8. All Pink, $9. Guok On, one of GK's, is $9.50. Sustainable, $10. Last start winner up here. Isti Star, $12. Impact Zone is on the borderline. Needs a scratching to get in, $12 from the Snowden yard with J-Mac on board. And then you got Get Ready Lass, $15. And then Darn Hot Lady, $23. 2 race replays that we can have a look at here. The first one's Prince Tycoon, and this is an 1,100 metre race. He's got the big baldy face, and he's nice size of a 2-year-old, and he took a while to sort of balance up and didn't really like the Caulfield turn as the way I sort of see it. And
who does?
Definitely not you, but he was really strong through the line, and they put some slick sectionals down the clock. They went out fast and home fast, and he did well to edge out his rival there. And this is the replay of the Dalrello, and you can sort of see Get Ready Lass in the white colours sort of wanting to sort of hang in. Cool Archie is the winner of the race in the green, and then Talk to Be Sure's there, so that form's okay with Cool Archie running well since. And then Amosu's just having the pipe opener with the red and the black hat down the outside, and just a bit tardy away, Amosu, but looks a complete setup job to my eye, GK, and you've been all over this horse as markets opened.
Yeah, look, I think it is a setup. Like they really didn't show much intent there. I like the way it finished the race off, but like I also would mention Get Ready Last there. Like it was posted 3 and 4 wide early, had to work. I wouldn't write that off, and I think we've mentioned this one on the show previously. This is a speed horse, and it's drawn low, and just look at where these two are drawn, and then where the favourite's drawn. Like, where is this favourite going to get to on the map over 1,000 metres at the Gold Coast? And as this track dries out, traditionally it's up and in. So I just think these two bring strong form. The Dalrello form is strong. We've seen it. Saw Cool Archie come out of it. Saw Talk to Be Sure still run pretty well last week as well. I think that could be the right form line, and I just think these two are value in the race.
Walt, I think GK's right. Bishin's just going to have to smoke his pipe, and if he storms over the top of him, well and good. Or do you think he's going to push the button?
The only way he can win is if he pushes the button. It's $1 billion to 1 if he goes back. Like it struggled to pick up over 1,100 on debut, so back to 1,000, you think he's only handlebars down, and he is exceptionally good at getting them out of the gates. But you can't just invent speed over 1,000 metres, can you? So it'll take a good ride. Why is it $2.20?
That seems very short. Impact Zone, its form's on rain-affected ground, so it's not going to get that. If it gets a start, is it a danger to Sydney horse?
No, I think
Don't
it's
like it?
coming out of pretty weak races. Yeah, J-Mac sort of anchoring it. It's probably a 20-1 chance. I actually was with GK. I think Get Ready Lass should be closer to favourite. I don't understand why it's 16-1 at all. And, most who got the squeeze. If the wrinkle can jump it out, it was the danger. I didn't really think there was much there. Even Dragon Rouge coming back in trip doesn't look ideal, but it'll run well. It's drawn well. They're probably the three chances, I thought. And Shin's going to have to pull a rabbit out of his hat to get the favourite home, I thought.
Yeah, I thought Guacon's got a few too many tricks. I thought Sustainable looks like a filly for next preparation, despite, it's well travelled. I think it's been over to Adelaide Sustainable, up to Brisbane. It's been all over the shop, so there's definitely ability there.
Had its birthday last start, didn't it?
Had its birthday, and she's a bit fizzy. Like, she paraded like a nice horse, like probably the pick of him, and she won well. But I'd be thinking next preparation for her. So yeah, I was similar thoughts. Amosu, I can see your angle there with Get Ready Lass. That form line looks great. Dragon Rouge is ultra consistent, but you might be waiting to get your price about Prince Tycoon. Really nice type, and that was I think you're right there. 1,200 metres would be a different kettle of fish because he looks like
1,400. You'd be thinking like off that run or something like 12 to 14 next start, not back to 1,000 wide draw. So especially if it drives right out.
Cracking spectacle, these races under lights, and the Gold Coast are finally getting the luck with the weather guide. So I assume it'll be a 5 or a 4, and this is race 3 at 6:30 on Friday night. So set your clock and maybe stay away from the favourite there. Will certainly be and Amosu's the early market mover as well as Get Ready Lass. Amosu's been 13 to 950, and then Get Ready Lass has been 17 to 15, and Walt's given it the big rubber stamp, saying it should nearly be favourite, which is classic John Walter pricing. Let's have a look at Doomben, race 1 next, and looks like a pretty interesting way to start the meeting. It's an 1,100 metre race. It's a benchmark 85. It's a Sky Racing benchmark, and the favourite here is the top weight, and that's Metal Art, 61.5 kilos, but gets the claim of 2 with Cody Collis. Burton's $5 favourite, loves the wet, so it's not going to get that. Holy Racket $5.50, Gumdrop $7.50, Acres Away $8.50, National Choice $10, Sicilian $10, Buse $11, He's Heaven $23, and Ralphie $31. Assume He's Heaven's going to rattle along, and there's a couple of speed runners here. Let's have a look at Sicilian last start on a heavy. You think this is a forgive, GK?
Oh, without a doubt. Look, it had to work early and definitely used a lot of petrol to get across to the lead. But, even despite that, I think it actually knuckles down pretty well here. And, you might look at this and just say, oh, well, look, it's just a class 3. But those two that got past it late, I mean, that's Tuned, who ran a place in the Gold Coast race behind Bazusto. And the other one is Tough Tomas, who is a really progressive galloper as well. So, that's no knock being beaten by those two. Now we get below the minimum. We get back to a dry track. I think this can cross and lead. And there's not a lot of tempo here, in my opinion. And, if you go back through the form of this thing, it's like a length and a half off Charmstone at this distance range, previous prep. So, look, we know what happens with these horses up here. Once Golan gets them going, they improve into a prep. I think it's a great bet at around $10, each way, whether it's 1 by 3 or something. You're going to get a really good run for your money here.
I was sort of looking at ways to attack the favourite also with Metal Art, and sort of didn't mind the trial of Buse, but here he is last time beating Metal Art. I've gone a little bit further back, but this is last time first up, and you've got Buse in the line with the black sleeves, sort of weaving in between runners, and Metal Art's sort of the widest sort of closing. But I've just got this horse Buse marked as a bit of a bomb first up horse. And $15 here this Saturday seems to be pretty appealing when you got Metal Art at $3.80. The time that they met back in that race, Buse was $2.60 favourite over Metal Art $3.50, and there's not much of a weight differential. The other horse that sort of caught my eye looking to beat the favourite was the big jockey upgrade for National Choice for Uncle Robbie Heathcote. So he's going to have to carry 60.5 kilos, but goes from Jai Williams, only beaten 3 to Tiger Shark at the Sunshine Coast as his little pipe opener, to now getting to Doomben, which he likes, Barrier 6, Nash on. I thought he'd be the perfect rider, and if they overdo it, I thought Nash could sort of try and lift him over the line. But it's a tricky one. I can sort of see your angle with Sicilian. We're both sort of digging into some old form lines, but it's not the easy start, Walt.
No, nothing can win. Sicilian at least is probably going to be in front. I think the faster she goes, the better. I think it's very one-paced. So, if it was me, and I'd be just telling her to put 5 on them and try and hold on. And I think $10 is a fair price if it's ridden that way. But if she sits and waits, she'll probably get out sprinted. I can't knock your angle. 12 to 1's probably what the field price should be. So, especially Buse, low draw, suits it. Like Meadowlark back in trip. It's just another one. First up heavy, back in trip with an apprentice gun. It's just a weird placement, isn't it? But I guess on paper it's a suitable race because nothing can win. So, I can't knock Sicilian, but I'd just be telling her to go, watch a few replays of Schumacher at a best and send it.
Rachel King, that's who Walt calls Schumacher. All right, so there's the first. We're all looking for value to try and kickstart the day. And I tell you what, if we get the winner of the first, we're off and racing. Doomben Race 4 is the next one. This is a doozy. It's 1,110 metre Chief De Beers, the good old Chief. What a horse he was. It's a listed event here. And Spacewalk's a favourite, 420, gets J-Mac. Appengirl 5, gets Nikita. Manhood $6, Cannonball $6.50, Natuno $7. Absolutely carved last start. King Kappa $8, Economics $10. The Big Goodbye $14. You got Master Showman $31, and At Wits End $35 for Danny Bowman. The first replay we're going to have a look at here is Cannonball, and it comes out of that. It's hot now, I guess, the Victory Stakes, and he's sort of in the James Harron colours behind a Bounding, who's got the big baldy face in the first light colours, and you can see him in the green with the yellow epaulettes, and just sort of gets squeezed in far too easy. He's off to his inside on the left, and the winner, Libertad, sort of often gone with Jetabil, and he keeps finding the line. I think maybe the 1,200 could be his outer limit, so... Are you thinking 1,100's better here, GK? And before we sort of get further into that, this is a pretty decent race at Gosford. I think it's a takeover target. You got Warney in the Bennett Racing colours. Barber's out in front with the white with a new stable. You got a Straka in the white and red, and here's Spacewalk sort of ambling up and coming into the race as he usually does. But this is 1,200 though for Spacewalk. I know you guys are going to cane me over coming up with Spacework on top, but I think 1,100 metres Doomben J-Mac, this is his chance in life, which I know I probably can't bet into the race if I've got Spacewalk on top, and I need to have a shower. I feel dirty about it. But
if the stewards report comes out and he's had EMDR during the week or something, had a bit of trauma at work or something, maybe you'll firm up.
Oh, Jesus. This is what I think of this race. I think it's a perfect scenario for Spacewalk just to get a J-Mac 11 out of 10 and to pinch it somehow, because there's a couple of bookings here that I just despise. Like App and Girl, I was super keen on it. They scratched it. It's got 53, but Nikita, And GK, I can see your angle Cannonball, but just wasn't doing enough for me when he got clear there. But tell me why he's going to win.
Look, I just don't think 1,200 suits that horse necessarily. Like, I know it won last prep over 1,200. I think back to 1,100 is the sweet spot, and we get Shin. And like on my map, it's just going to be one out, one back. It's going to be in the perfect spot. And I think Spacewalk is going to be last. It's going to be 2 horses behind Cannonball. And can it give Cannonball that margin of, I don't know, what's the tempo going to be here? Probably solid, maybe moderate. I'm not sure. Barriers really matter here over 1,100 at Doomben, and I can just see Shin getting to the perfect spot, peeling on the turn. He's going to be really hard to beat, and we're getting $7 or $8 here. I am definitely having something on App and Girl as well. Like, I've been wanting to be on it, since that trial. I do not like the booking, but we get 53 kilos here, and it could just explode. I think it's probably just going to be behind Cannonball in the run. You can leave me out of Spacewalk, especially at this price.
Well, you'd be desperate to bet into this race?
Yeah, so I'm not going to say nothing can win because that would be being too nice. I looked up, Chief De Beers could probably win it, but he passed away 4 or 5 years ago, and he'd still probably be 6-4 in this. App and Girl's the right horse. Yeah, we've talked enough about App and Girl. Natuno was enormous at Ipswich, but as you said, the draw's horrific, going to be last. It's the only other horse going any good. So, yeah, it's either App and Girl or bust, I'd say, for me.
Oh, we'll see what happens with race 4. So, yeah, don't be surprised if Spacewalk wins, but he's just so funny. He's got.
Don't be surprised.
What?
Don't be surprised if it wins.
No.
Okay.
I think
it is favourite. It's how you found it, probably.
I got this theory with Spacewalk. He just needs those tight turning, bad tracks.
You're just a Michael Jackson fan. Oh, there's Moonwalk. Sorry.
Yeah.
Spaceballs.
I think any time he's taking him like Eagle Farm and the Flemingtons, it's not what he wants.
Mate, we've got 17 races to go next.
Pokey joint. Let's get into the quaddie.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hang on. I've got to get my pen and paper ready. Nothing can win. Oh, look. Race 6.
Yeah, nothing can win.
Yeah, here we go. Good luck, GK.
Let's have a look at the market. Magic Millions mile, Group 3 at 1,600 metre event, and Vivier, $3.60. Jenny Lala, $6.50. Thalassophile, $7. Exotic Miss, $11. Just Glamorous, $11. Adiella is $12. Torabella, $13. Sox Nation, $14. And much bigger the rest. Vivier's an interesting one with the Know Thyself form. I just wanted to replay the race, given that John said it'd go to Yatlapi's Nude.
I was there that afternoon. No one was there with me.
And GK sort of half declared it. But I'm a little bit worried here with Vivier. Got the absolute PR, I thought. And as we sort of referenced, 1,600 might be complete our limit for this horse. And you got depth of character sort of slugging up inside it. And the other form race that I thought was maybe just a couple of forgive runs here, and it's Sox Nation and Thalassophile. They're both sort of out the back here and really having just pipe openers, and they probably would have scratched if they were serious about trying to, I guess, win the race. But I'm sort of going on the angle that they just needed the clean-out run, so Waller and Ma just ran them anyway, and Sox Nation's a horse that usually goes forward. So barrier 14 is a bit tricky with Mark Zara, but I think if she jumps, she'll go forward, and then Thalassophile now gets J-Mac. So you've got $7 Thalassophile, and then you got $14 Sox Nation. I've had something small on Sox Nation. I might be going off a run too early, but I couldn't back Vivier here. And then Jenny Lala's the interesting runner for Bedgegood, who's got that Zlotties and Adelaide form, and she could be probably ready to peak here third up, although it is third up 3 times at a mile. This is a race that she's sort of in. GK, what did you think?
Very difficult race. We'll be wide in the quaddie. Look, I've had something on Torabella at I think it was $13 or $14. It's just going to be right there. Like it draws low, gets Williams. Depending on what happens with these scratchings, it's either going to lead or be in the first 2 pairs. So I think that's the right price. Definitely putting in those 2, Sox Nation and Thalassophile in a quaddie. I think there are a couple of smokies at big prices here who seem to turn up, around the mile range when we get to this carnival. So Arts Object, which always seems to win this type of race every carnival up here at 50 to 1. I think it's done it 2 or 3 times. Poetic Drama, I think, could be a big improver. I'm putting all of those in my quaddie. Have backed Torabella, but wide quaddie, hard race.
Interesting one, Kurt's got Arts Object backing up from Scone. It's a fair high coming back from Scone, isn't it?
Well, how many horses you got?
Not many.
He might have rode it back.
Half a dozen. Yeah. If you had to play on this one,
crikey.
Is there anything that catches your eye?
When he does train a winner, they seem to be 20 to 1 or something, don't they?
Nothing can win?
I'd add in Little Mix as well as a horse, but it's drawn 7. Jesus Christ.
That's the problem. That was the horse that I thought was a knockout at odds.
But it's a mile, and they're all going to be gasping for air at the end of it, most likely. So, they look like they're going to go quick enough. Maybe it could do something. I agree, Vivier's just short. It gets the draw and Collett's riding well. Like, it could suck, pop out and win, but it's the only way it's probably going to win. Jenny Lala's the obvious horse with a bit of upside and a bit of DF, and the rest will be whacking away. So, good luck. Oh, Terry Pilkadaris. What's it called? Mate, can you say that horse's name, please? Punxsutawney Phil.
Yeah. Pulkadaris, is it?
It actually trialled really well after a pretty average first run, and you sort of kept looking at it, wondering why it's staying in training, and it went straight past Mayfair to trial the other day, so maybe you can do something. So just throw everything in the quaddie, basically, is what we're suggesting.
Pulchritudinus.
Yes, that's exactly how I would have said it.
That's how I'd call it in a race, and the poor old race caller's got a mouthful there. Marlo would struggle with it.
Terry Pilkadaris used to be a good golfer.
I don't know how Fowler's going to go with it. But yeah, I think that's a good way to play the quaddie is just gap Vivier, and you don't really want it. Like, have a look at the quaddie last week at Flemington, paid 166,000.
Scone was the same, I think, was it? The two of them
Just
paid
absolute belting quaddies. Not that we've heard much about it. It used to be a great bet type, the quaddie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had 6 or 7 in the last at Doomben, and the bunny led all the way.
Yeah.
What a fun day.
So Les Vivier is the way we're going to play that race. Let's have a look at the Roses Group 2 2,000 metre event. Benadryl is making her charge into the Queensland Oaks after winning the SA Oaks. $3.10 favourite. Mark Zara follows. Filly at $4.60. In from $7.50. Not sure where I saw that. Polymnia $5.50. Verona Rose $9.50. Moving out $13. Churchill's Choice $15. Dame Commander $18. Bella Montagna last up winner at Kembla $20. Then you got Jenny's Meadow $26 and Yu Wang $27, and then Full How $27. Couple of replays we're going to have a look at. Here is the Benadryl SA Oaks win, and real Zara-like, wasn't it? Just to spear out 10 wide. And
moving out's on its back. Polymnia's in the white face-ish coming through, one back on the back of moving out now. So they're all in this race.
What do you think of this, Wolf?
It was very dominant. A little bit concerned. Moving out was on the back up a week later, and whether it runs the trip, and probably Polymnia was the unlucky one. But they're sort of all deeper into preps, whereas Benadryl had was ready to peak there, and it sort of seems like it's got more in the tank than the others too. I would say.
And then Feminil was down on the inside, and it come out and won that chinky SA Derby. Here's the Charge of Life Brigade here. You got Filia in the pink with the light blue, just outside the leader there, and she just sort of charges away. There's car crashes everywhere. Look at the back. Pinetto's come out and won in the Godolphin colours on that bottomless Gold Coast track, and that's the big question I've got with a lot of these. Like Pleasure Artists is way back there getting skittled, but a lot of those Gold Coast bracelet horses, like, are they still got mud in the guts? And it's just all the speed.
Is that real form too? That was a bit of a weird race. The beauty of Filia is it's got that tactical speed, isn't it? It can sort of put itself up there and out of trouble and can quicken and sustain a run. So it's hard to knock it, but it's just how deep that form is.
GK?
Oh, look, I think the map here is just perfect for Filia. There's no tempo in the race. Like, where are these others going to get to from that SA form? Like, boy, they're going to be giving Filia a start, and do they even care if they win this race? Probably not. Like, it's just a stepping stone to the Oaks, so you can leave me out of all those prices. Like, respect that form line, but it's not grand final day. Filia is just going to be right there in the right spot. I have it on top, but do I want to take that price? Not really. Look, I've had a couple of very small bets at a few at big odds here. I had something on Bella Montagna, won that nothing race at Kembla, but has some interesting form lines in New Zealand, I thought. So might just be one that's on the upward spiral, right stable. So that's one I've covered. I've also covered Full How. I've liked some of the previous runs, like that was 30s. That was an easy one to cover. Definitely be putting Churchill Choice in the quaddie. I think the run, the runs so far this prep have been good. I'll be putting Pleasure Artists in the quaddie. I'll probably put all those out coming out of South Australia in the quaddie, as well as Filia as well.
Yeah, to be brutally honest,
we're going narrow in the first two legs.
I've given this race about 20 minutes, and I sort of couldn't really get past the top two in the market, so I'm going to have to go deeper. Churchill's Choice sort of came onto my radar as a horse, a possibility. I can see an angle for forgiving Full How. Low confidence race for me, and not excited, which is weird for me because I usually love these Camel Fests.
This is actually this is the deepest, best race of the day, apart from a Tino's race, I guess. Benadryl, I'm pretty much exactly what GK says. That they're not going to bust these horses heading into the Oaks. The Adelaide ones especially. Filia is going to be there by default. Bella Montagna is going to be there. Dame Commander is going to be there. It's the other one that I think's got a good chance. I thought it sort of went back to the inside the other day and probably didn't win as well as I expected it to at Warwick Farm, but I don't think it's that sort of horse and draws to just be right there. Yu Wang, Churchill's Choice, Full How, they're all horses that can go in the quaddie here if there's not the full intent from the others, and Verona Rose has to go in as well. It's sort of It's never been put in the race ever for Verona Rose, so I don't think it's going to be here either. But it's hard to know how good this horse is. I think, it's just so smelly, the race. I agree with Scoot. It's a low confidence race because it's smelly, but if I'm betting, I'm backing 20-1 chances, and definitely Bella Montagna and Dame Commander are the starting point.
Dame Commander's an interesting setup, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and it's always looked an Oaks horse. I know I had a little ask about it before it ran first up. Pardon me, because I thought it trialled really well, and I thought this was the race, and I think there was a little knock on it, but just taking a horse on face value, it was good first up, good second up, progressing the right way, and this is the sort of race where, it's not a grand final for the ones at the top. Maybe Fillies has got a little bit more intent than the rest, and it could put its hand up and say I'm an Oaks contender off the back of this easily.
Yeah, I thought Dame Commander is probably the most interesting roughie, or just some sort of X factor horse, but needed a little bit more of a look. So yeah, tread warily, and another wide quaddie league. We're going to be broke by just taking the quaddie, but it could be boom time. Could be the third big quaddie in a week or so's time.
The last couple of races do look
bit
findable.
Yeah, let's have a look at the Doomben Cup. Group 1, the 4X Doomben Cup. It's Antino favourite here, $3.60. Prodigy $4.20. Faulkner Park $8. Lindemann $9. Kovalika $10. Elias $10. Militarised $15. Myrober $16. Waterjont $17. You got Osipenko $18, and then Miss Jolene $34. Klondike $91. First one we're going to have a look at here. GK, you can talk about both replays. Pride of Jenny here, not much behind her, but gave him 7 kilos.
Yeah, just a listed race. And look, I think this was, I think the Corps were pretty happy to take her on this day. Like, got out to sort of 270, 280, giving the 5-6 kilos away to the rest of these. And the race rated well, the performance rated well, but it is just listed grade. I think it's interesting to think about where Pride of Jenny's at. And look, I think that was a nice performance, but, now we're getting serious, and, can she actually step up further than that and be able to, sustain the speed we've seen in previous preparations to hold off these weight for age horses? I say no, but, others disagree with me.
Let's have a look at that Hollandale. It's obviously rain effect to have a look at it. Faulkner Park, as they're sort of trying to box on as best he can on the heavy, and then Antino drops him like a hot pie. Old Kovalika has been, I love Kovalika, but I don't love him here. He's been 18 into, $9. I just can't get my head around it as much as I love the horse. But, wow, it was a breathtaking win, Antino, but my slight reservation is the heavy track could have flattered him, because a horse like Faulkner Park, I don't think gets through it at all. And I thought the horse I wanted to bonus was sort of Faulkner Park, and if you're going to bonus Faulkner Park, given the heavy, you're going to have to sort of forgive horses like Elias, Militarise. Tommy just got lost. I just don't know why he didn't have him closer in the run. But, I'm with GK. It's a step above, isn't it, GK, the what she's taking on now. And as you say, it's 2,000 metres is another bridge. And has she still got one more in her?
Yeah, look, I say no. I think if you look at the ratings, especially you compare her performances versus Antino in the last 6 months, well, on my ratings, 3 of Antino's last 4 runs, she hasn't gone anywhere near that figure since the fee in September last year. I personally think that she has declined from her peak last year, and I think he's more or less maintaining it. You could even argue, the last 6 months has even elevated further. And I just think if you look at all of the form and you compare everything that's going on here, I think he brings the best and strongest overall form and the highest overall ratings and the best last performance. So, earlier in the week when he wasn't favourite, I just thought that was wrong. So I was betting. I think it's probably right now. Like, I think the price is getting to about the right mark in a race like this. I'm opposing Pride of Jenny, at this price. I can't take anything near this price. I think I've got Pride of Jenny $6.50. I think Alias, it was value early in the week. I still believe it's value. There was an avalanche of money for it first up. And you can just easily forgive it there. And then you just dig into its form. It starts $4 in the Turnbull and races like that. It's finishing not far off horses like Buckaroo, Via Sistina. And it could just be Johnny on the spot here, where it'll probably be 1 out, 1 back. Yes, there'll be ground to make up on Pride of Jenny, but if those back markers like Antino and Faulkner Park can't get into the race, it's the one that I think can finish over the top of horses like Pride of Jenny and Lindemann. So look, I'm super keen Antino, but I've covered Alias as well. I potentially may have something Faulkner Park to save stake, but they're the only 3 I want in the race.
Yeah, very similar thoughts here. Lindemann, the sacrificial lamb for Kovalica and militarise the closes, Walt. And are you going to lay Pride of Tony?
Why doesn't be the sacrificial lamb? Surely they've worked out it has to go quick, so I don't know if there is a sacrificial lamb. Yeah, I don't. It should look like a cork in the ocean there, and I agree. It looked like the time was good and the rating was good, but she was dead set bobbing and nothing could go. It's just a shame that Antino doesn't draw a gate, Elias doesn't draw a gate. That's the problem for me, being super confident on betting on one of them. But I call it Cole Trickle Antino, where he can, I'm dropping the hammer Cole, and he just makes an 800 metre run where he looks like gout. And then other times when he just sort of whacks. But if we get Cole Trickle Antino here, it's probably race over, which because that was weird last start. He just sort of moved into the race, goes past him, and he's still in first gear. And if you had told me 12 months ago I'd be tipping Antino in a 2,000 metre Doomben Cup, I would have been very apprehensive to believe you. So, it's not a race I think makes sense, if that makes sense. But Lindemann and Elias are the 2 stalkers. Potentially Elias, Tim's going to have to pull off a little bit of a miracle early to land in a good spot. What did that run do to him first up's obviously a big query, whereas at least Lindemann sort of had a really solid prep and should improve and should get a perfect run, should find the fence. Militarise was good enough the other day to still believe he's alive. But, it's a sneaky little race. Faulkner Park should run well. So, I'm with GK, Antino, Faulkner Park, and then probably Lindemann, Elias smaller in the quaddie, I'd say, and just hope that Froggy's paddling at the 600 metre mark.
All right, that's we're all on similar pages there. So it's going to be a cracking encounter, and the commentary post-race will be probably as entertaining because everyone's very opinionated around Pride of Jenny. She's done
won 2 out of 3 this prep since she's been retired. She'll probably Johnny Farnham it again after this or something soon, and then probably come back for the spring. But it's hard to say it's a failed prep, isn't it? She's still chugging along, and she still does add great interest to these races. But she's dead set a catalyst for wanting to watch the races for me. Usually not bet. I don't know what it is about her, but she just really grays me up because
she's a warrior.
Well, she is, but she also busts the horses up, and when they're not going to get toes into the race, it's really tricky to bet into the race because they do have to make such long, wide runs. If you take it on face value, she's going to be 5 or 6 in front and make them chase. So she really does turn a race into something different that not many horses can do, and obviously she can finish the race off a little bit as well. So a little bit, she's obviously a very, very good horse.
Outstanding. It's going to be a cracker and maybe a leg that you can go a little bit skinnier. Race 9 is an absolute doozy. It's a golden ticket into the Stradbroke. It's the Group 2 BRC Sprint, Group 3, sponsored by the Hong Kong Jockey Club Whirlpool, over $13.50. And favourite here is War Machine, $3.90, one of DK's horses. Rise at Dawn, $7. Coleman, $8. I Know a Star, $9. Freedom Rally, $11. Yellow Brick, $13. Transatlantic, $13. Rock Ribbed, $16. Boom Talk, $16. Warney, struggling to get a start at the moment, $16. Far Too Easy, $17. Estadio Mistella in a similar boat. I think it needs a scratching, $20. And you got Matcha Latte, who's absolutely flying, $21. A little later is $23. Safrado, $23. Pier, $23. Zadaki, $26. Abounding, $31. Attractable, $51. Back from the Abyss, it's had an injury. And then you got Orton and Red Wave further down the page and in the mix. No replays, but we ended up queuing up about 8. The puzzle is very deep, and it's your backyard, so you have to go first, GK.
Oh, look, I think it's an amazing race. My starting point is just that it's a raffle. And look, track pattern is going to be so important here late in the day. The ones that really need to win to make the Stradbroke are Sadaki, War Machine, Safrado, Transatlantic, Matcha Latte. Like they pretty much can't make the Stradbroke field unless they win this race. So it's, it's game on for all of them. And just the tempo here is extreme. Like there is so much early speed in this race. So when I looked at that and just the map, I thought the horses that were probably most likely to be favoured by that were going to be Yellow Brick, Freedom Rally, Coleman, Abounding, and Zadaki. So that was kind of like how I sort of started to look at it. And I just thought War Machine is too short here. Like I haven't completed pricing this race, but I will be $6.50, $7 the field. There's absolutely no way in the world I could have something $4 in this. And look, it's a talented horse, but I just can't get it this short in the market. So, when I dug back through War Machine's form, like I looked at some of the runs in Sydney, and it's finishing beside Zadaki and horses like Ostraka. So I have no idea how it could be $4 and Zadaki is almost $40 on some of the corporates. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. So look, at this stage, I think I'm going to have something on Freedom Rally, who I think is just going to get in a good spot. I've got to have something on Coleman from the low draw here, where I'm sure that with J-Mac, they're going to kick up. And I'm going to have something Zadaki at this stage. I might potentially have something on a few others, maybe Abounding potentially as well, and go from there. But at this stage, looking like Coleman, Zadaki, Freedom Rally, probably where I'm going to have an interest, even though I haven't bet yet, and then just go from there.
Yeah, this has got Car Crash written all over it with all that tempo, as you mentioned. And I'm sort of similar with, pardon me, trying to play around a couple of different roughies. And I think Freedom Rally's sort of going sneaky good. He's the only bet that I've had thus far. But, I look at the market and I think that Transatlantic's a really big price at $16. I'm treating that Archer run as a complete barrier trial. I think this is where he'll start to, I guess, flex his muscles. And I think he's just a different horse now. He's gelded. So I think he's the massive improver, Transatlantic. I think Abounding's crazy price. You can get sort of $41 about her. She's got a lot of class, and I think she's going a little bit better than her ratings and her sort of data sort of suggest. To my eye, she looks like she's travelling really well. A little bit peeved that Rise at Dawn's come up $7. I thought the market had missed this one, and I thought it was well suited to the big tempo. I thought, I'll put 20s up it, but it's come up $7. So yeah, it's not a betting option, but I couldn't take Coleman at sort of $8 or $9 as much as I like the horse, and I can sort of echo the thoughts with Zadaki. But this is so deep. Like Estadio Mistella to me sounds dangerous if it can get a start, but yeah, it looks like it's up against it. Given it's a golden ticket race, there's going to be some pretty frustrated owners around the bottom of the weights here, which is a worry because a couple of those right down the weights, they look like genuine knockout chances to win the Stratty, which is a bit sad.
I think there's like three chances. Chances. I think Zadaki should be close to favourite. It's just the stupid price. It's insane. It's just wrong. And it won't start that price unless I have a heart attack between now and Saturday. Big chance that Coleman is the horse to beat, I think. Just given an absolute barrier trial, it looked like it was airborne before last start. Complete forgive there. Perfect draw, J-Mac. This horse is important to this stable and could see it jumping through the roof. War Machine's really dangerous, but I agree it's just too short. Profiles well to run well, but it's just too short. So it's got a very good chance. Abounding, I agree, is a silly price. Always been one of my horses that is always undervalued for whatever reason. Just the draw. Same for Transatlantic. You'd think they're probably going to have to put up big performances from back and wide, whereas at least Coleman and the mighty Zadaki are drawn absolutely perfect to sort of sit midfield. They will need a bit of luck because there will be horses stopping in front of them, but I think they'll be running very, very well. So I think this is a good betting race, and I think Coleman and Zadaki have to go around good winners. So Abounding goes around a winner, and maybe War Machine's one you just throw in the quaddie and make sure it doesn't beat you. But I think it's a good betting race because there is such good tempo, and Zadaki has been racing over too short the first two runs back.
Yeah, hopefully by that stage they're sort of getting off the fence and everyone gets their chance because it's going to be carnage, but it's going to be an exciting finish to the quaddie. GK, excellent stuff at Brizzy Form Guides, where you find him on Twitter, and you can join his Discord if you want to talk all things Brisbane racing at 7 days a week. It's a great place to be. I love it. And it's going to continue for the next couple of months with all the Queensland Carnivals. So jump onto his Twitter account, get into his DMs, and hopefully he gives you the golden ticket to get in. I think I've said golden ticket about 8 times. Not a golden ticket at Randwick with 20 mil overnight. I think there's another 15 mil today, and it's going to be ducks and drakes there, which is exactly what Walt likes. And I'm not sure if he's trying to rev me up here because he's doing something outside of his usual pattern, and he's going to go to race 2. He's going to go to the Midway 1400 metre race, and we're going to have a look at that. What are your spies saying? Is it going to be an 8 or is it going to be just a flat
28.
out? Huh?
It'll be a 28.
Well, they go ahead.
There's more chance it won't be on than it will be an 8.
Because there's the growing trend that they just don't run on the heavy 10s anymore.
Well, it's not supposed to rain on Saturday. If it rained on Saturday, there's no way to be on. But I think it's not supposed to rain on race day, so hopefully it'll just be bottomless.
Okay, market. First mission favourite here, Zach Waddick, $3.80 for Gerald and Sterling. $5.50 Flying Embers. Wee, $6.50, bit of French. Trafalgar Square, $8.50. Strawberry Impact, $9. Then you got Vintage Choice, 13. Rush Attack, 14. Hellfire Express, $18. Danish Prince, 19. And then Callistamon, $20. Walt, you like 2 here. You like Wee, the 15 and the 13 Callistamon.
Yes. So Callistamon, I've chased, and I'm just going to continue chasing it. They sent it up the inside the other day. When it was nearly a good thing if you got to the outside fence, and of course, they didn't choose to go that way. 1,400 second up's probably as far as it wants, but they think this horse is a 2,000 metre horse for whatever reason. Drives me crazy. But it's just an easy bet at 20 to 1, even with Reese on board. But Wee just looks like a very, very talented horse to me. It's first up win at Kembla, had to be seen to be believed. Did find the fast lane to a certain degree, but was set an impossible task and overcame it. And then the other day it was back on the inside and never really got going until the race was over in a Group 3, I think. So dropping back from Group 3 to Midway, it's got to get a run, obviously, and no rider down. Our man Jason Addard usually tries to find the most overlooked jockey in the room and give them a chance, usually. So you never know what'll happen there. But I think this horse is well and truly above Midway grade, and probably so is First Mission. But it's $3.90 and probably it's $7-8 about Wee. First Mission was really good first up as a gelding, landed in the right spot there, and the race was over. Probably 600 out. It's going to run very well again. It's a little similar situation to say War Machine. I'd say this horse is better than Midway grade too. It's just you're not getting the price you are about Wee and Callistamon. I'd nearly chop out on First Mission for sanity reasons, just to get your money back, just because it's definitely better than Midway grade. It's just the other two are better prices for mine.
All right, so a bit of a shove Wee and Callistamon, and then a cover up.
Cover up if you feel the need, because it's definitely a good horse, and we don't know the bottom of it. Gets a sort of negative rider change. That's the only thing, but it'll be finishing up in better races than Midway's First Mission.
Beautiful stuff. All right, the last race that we're going to have a look at is race number 10, and let's have a look at the prices here. You got Driftnet at $4.40, Miss Kimcar $4.80, She's Unusual $4.80. You got Flying Thinker $9, Alapicanto $11, Captain Amelia $11, $13 about Hellbound on You and Elba. The two horses you like here are Miss Kimcar and Captain Amelia.
Yeah, both these horses are just desperate to win a race. First up was huge from Captain Amelia, given no chance whatsoever. And then last start, it was sort of back and in behind him at Hawkesbury. Never really got a chance to get going there either. So treating those both runs as just barrier trials. Whether she loves the heavy or not really sure, but we'll find out Saturday. And we'll probably get set of 10 or 12 to 1. Miss Kimcar is completely and utterly airborne and has, not to the rider's fault, been given no chance first, second up, but just been in the wrong race, drawn the wrong gate, set impossible tasks. Again, it draws awkwardly here. I thought it might be a better price than $5, and you still might get a better price. It is Björn in the last, so maybe, the people stuck to that theory will hold its price down. But, I think they're two horses that are going a lot better than it may read on paper, both desperate to win a race. It's not a gimme race. There's, Hellbent on You's going okay. Driftnet landed in the right spot and won the other day. Josh is obviously probably your number one choice there with J-Mac and whatever away, so it gets the right rider, right gate. And She's Unusual is not hopeless, but yeah, Miss Kim Carr and Captain Amelia for me will be anchoring my if I'm still alive in the last.
I think I'd be shocked if Miss Kim Carr doesn't get through it just on breed, but
yeah. And that's if it's a slog, it's proper airborne, that horse.
So different.
And maybe a very. I think there's a very good race in that horse.
Yeah, it just looks like it's come back a completely different horse, or they've figured it out. Well, Bjorn's figured it out.
Keeps coming, and then obviously the stable's going well, 54.5. Dylan's on the comeback trail, but he's definitely hungry. He's desperate to ride every winner he can, and it's always good to find jockeys in that position. Pierrata, sire was, he loved the wet, didn't he?
They go right in the wet.
Yeah, it should be a interesting race, but the pattern and everything will obviously play a part in it. We don't really know what we're going to get served up. 10-metre rail in the outside. They dead set could be coming to the $734 million grandstand side by that stage.
Yeah, I don't think it should be drifting from what I see on my automated database punting form.
She won't be.
No.
Maybe.
Good luck getting a price on Miss Kim Carr, especially if it's down the outside. All right, that's it. That's the end of the show.
No more.
Well, we've got there's more of Doomben. Race 2 is a beauty. It's got 23 runners.
Taree's on Monday. Should we preview it?
Taree, buggers.
Look for the wet trackers at Taree, GK. No. She's about 3.5 feet underwater currently, the poor buggers.
Yeah, leave me out of Taree.
It's scary when you got the choppers going into suburbs of towns trying to get winch people out.
I was there not that long ago, and the street signs are under, and you just can't imagine it. Yeah. I just don't know how it's possible. So it's hopefully I think there's been a couple of casualties, unfortunately, but hopefully everyone gets through it as best they can.
Exactly. Walt's 24/7 Sydney and New South Wales racing. So if you love Sydney racing or New South Wales racing, you got to go to racingwatch.com.au and get amongst it. The Telegram group's a beauty because there's no noise, and then the Discord channel is where all the ferals live. There. There's lots of noise, and there's lots of different chat rooms, and it's very, very feral. Mate, 27th if you like racing.
Coming up, there'll be noise next Wednesday. The vote next Wednesday.
Yes.
Rose Hill vote.
Yeah, and the Rose Hill vote. So it's good to see a couple of the big names, Johnny O'Shea, et al.,
Pete
Snowden, Ronnie Quinton all coming out because, it's definitely vote no is the best thing for the industry, without a doubt. All right, that's a wrap from us. Big thanks to Punting Form Racing Queensland and you two lads. And fingers crossed the quaddie pays a whopper and we've all got a slice of it at Brisbane. And can't wait for the Doomben Cup. Looks an absolute crack. See you next week.